Hello and welcome to the Stay Healthy Experience. This is Robert Ferguson, and I'll be joined shortly with Barbara Chris. That's my co-host. And we're going to be talking about a lot of things. We have a special guest today, and we're going to talk about weight loss for women with curves, weight loss for women without curves, weight loss for people who are just done with the struggle. So don't miss it. Stay right there, and you will meet our guest, Miss Lacee Green. She's a crack up. All right, here we are with the Stay Healthy Experience. Thank you for being here, as always, Miss Barbara Chris.
Of course.
Now, today we have a special guest, and we want to welcome you to the studio, Lacee Green.
Welcome.
I'm excited to be here.
Now, Lacee, I told everyone that, we're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff that's talk-aboutable. So I wasn't specific.
It's a clear word, talk about.
That is.
I like
it's
that.
talk-aboutable.
Talk about it.
Talk about it.
When you can talk about or bring up a topic,
Yeah.
and then people are talking about it after,
Yeah.
then that's talk about.
I
it.
love
Talk about.
it.
I know.
Okay.
It's
So
a
don't be
new-
stealing my steal my
gonna
phrase.
steal
Talk about.
Actually, I got to give credit to Mr. Steve Allen, my publicist. He's the one who taught me that,
I like
Oh.
that. I've never heard that
I was
before.
gonna say, that's
very
the first-
interesting.
which is good. When I'm talking to him, he'll say, "Now that's talk-aboutable." Okay,
I
nice.
like it.
Talk
about-able.
about.
So, Lacee, we know you. We see you regularly.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people who don't know you. This is their introduction to you.
Yeah.
So, give us a summary of who Lacee Green is.
Oh man. All right. Well, first of all, thank you both for having me today. I'm so excited to be here. So excited all the time anyway. So yes, my name is Lacee Green. I am a certified personal trainer, group fitness instructor, and a nutritionist for Diet Free Life. So that's amazing. And fellow coaches with you guys, super exciting. I am a mom, which is my number one and most important title, and a women's fat loss coach and motivational speaker. So it's kind of a lot of things that I
think you forgot a couple things.
I know.
Also, I like to do burpees and been wearing little sports bras.
That's right.
So I own an all women's fitness studio here in Ventura, and training women and exercise and meeting women right where they are and helping them just to learn to love their bodies and build confidence and drop the fat and own their curves and just really just be their happiest and healthiest self.
Okay, so let me ask you,
love it.
why is it that you only have women in your classes?
That's a very good question. I started, my very first personal training job was at Bally's in Oxnard, which is no longer here. It's been gone for a while. And I had male and female clients, and I still do train as personal training some clients online that are men. But with women, I think that it's very... women are very self-conscious of their bodies and a lot fitness and all that is something that is sometimes can be a little bit intimidating walking into a gym. Sometimes there's guys there and when I started training women and seeing how comfortable they were when we were around women, and I'm also a Zumba instructor, and in those classes,
So I knew you forgot a couple things.
There it is, Zumba instructor.
Oh, no, there's gonna be other things come up.
I'll drop them in.
Oh, yeah.
We'll just drop it. We're gonna put that over here in a little
Right.
box.
It's been a side basket. Side
Exactly.
basket.
But I saw how women felt so much more comfortable being around other women, just to wear whatever and be sweaty, and there's not this expectation that they have to be
Right.
you know what I'm
Some
talking
of the
about?
movements,
Yeah, the movements that you do, and so it's just very much more comfortable, and the atmosphere that creates is very different. And so I'm not anti men coming in the gym or anything like that. I love it. I love fitness at every shape, size, and color, male, female, whatever. But to me, women's fitness is kind of really my niche and where my heart is.
That's like your tribe.
Absolutely.
See,
Yeah.
I would like to challenge that.
Oh boy.
Here we
No,
go.
no,
Here,
Right out
here.
the gate.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
I like to challenge it because
All right.
I believe, as I look at my 13-year-old and 10-year-old daughters,
Yeah.
and they understand what, the different transgender,
Sure.
LGBTQ plus, pan,
Right.
the different places that people are.
Right.
And then you see what the government is doing, starting to remove certain names so
Yeah.
that everyone can feel, and it's inclusive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And being at a place, right, in the 21st century.
Absolutely.
Inclusive is there.
Absolutely.
I feel that a women's only class
Yeah.
is somewhat archaic.
I understand what you're saying. Group fitness is like 86% women, first of all.
Yeah, it's not.
I mean,
You're not
so
going to
it's
get that. That'd be my other point.
Right. But so you technically can't even say an all women's fitness studio, right? Because it's not inclusive. So I've said that for a very long time. We've had plenty of men, you would be smart to come to this
I
gym
know.
and try to, I mean, like to be around all the ladies. I mean, but so it absolutely is inclusive of men. I just say an all women's fitness studio because that's kind of what we've always been. So the classes we meet everybody at where they are, their fitness level. So it's beginner level exercises up to advanced. I have people that are just learning to squat and people that are doing a burpee, box jump, flip in the air, so I think that yes, it is all inclusive. I mean, but the atmosphere has always been mostly women. And
Yeah.
it's not just like when you walk in, no one's gonna make you feel uncomfortable that you're a man. You probably would feel uncomfortable.
No, I
You're
thought-
like, woo, good to see you. So yeah.
I thought when the guys come in, you put them right in the center.
Yeah, right in the center. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, let's see what you got. And then it is a whole little different story for men that come in and they think like, oh, there's no, big equipment here. We're just using bands or dumbbells or whatever it is. And I have kicked a lot of guys' asses in some group fitness classes and things like that because it's a totally different experience from NFL guys to, whatever. When you come in, you just lifting weights.
Right.
I mean, you're at IFBB Pro, and all. I mean, it's a totally different experience.
Yeah.
HIIT training and all that versus just straight strength training and all that with barbells and racks and grunting and things.
It's good to mix it up.
Yeah, mix it up.
Yes.
Mix it up.
Okay, so you're not an exclusively all women's fitness center.
Sure.
No,
Yeah.
I mean I'm serious because I think you're at a place where a lot of the things that worked 10 years ago don't necessarily work today.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, we are inclusive of everyone. Absolutely. That's been my message. My main objective is for everybody to feel included. I just think working with women specifically, like I said, I've coached a lot of men, personal training, one-on-one, nutrition coaching, and they've actually been some of my most successful stories were with men. But right? I mean, and I think I've talked to you about that too, but it's, absolutely. It's inclusive of everyone.
I get it.
Everyone.
Well, if you think back to like I would be willing to bet that either a frustrated, pissed off woman is responsible for starting women's only fitness centers, or some guy was like, there's a niche market there.
Yeah.
Came up with the idea of women only. And then a lot of guys like that idea.
Yeah.
Because they don't want their wives going to the same gym they go to.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I remember years ago, gosh, long time ago, right out of college, I was starting my career.
Yeah.
One of my first gym memberships was at an all women's gym in Simi Valley. I can't
Awesome.
remember
Was it Total Woman? Or something
I
like
think
that?
so.
They've been
I think it
around
was
a
Total
while.
Woman, in Simi Valley.
They're still there.
It was like
I mean,
that gradual transition to, to the gym life.
Right.
Yeah.
But then you felt more comfortable
I
walking in
did.
with all the ladies?
Yeah.
Totally. I also, Robert, back in the day, women, you have 2 daughters, were not as encouraged to do sports and exercise and do all those things that were not, associated with being a lady or being whatever. I mean, we could do tennis and maybe golf, but they have these crazy machines back in the day. They have these old commercials that are like, are you kidding me? Have you seen it? It's like you would sit in this thing and it would like just jiggle your body or like roll you out. So you're not really physically doing any activity, but that was like exercise for us. So, I mean, I have like, ladies in here from, teenagers that are, trying to get fit and drop body fat and learn about their health and, positive self-body image. And then I have my ladies in here, I mean, they're like 80 years old that we do Zoom classes. And, then they're also in the gym that will do burpees and squats and all of it with the best of them, So, and I think we encourage one another. So I think it definitely can make it a different atmosphere, like when there's, a more masculine energy in the gym. But sometimes we do classes with husband and wives. Sometimes we do, so it's definitely want to be inclusive of everyone. But, it would be interesting to look back to where the very first, like Curves and things like that were gyms that were, but, sports and way back and we're not encouraged for us as women to do. So.
Right. Well, that's why they had Title IX. And that's why we are where we are.
Right.
I mean, Jane Fonda is still the #1 selling exercise video of
crazy.
all time.
Jane Fonda. I know. I did it.
It'll never. No one will ever break that record.
That was so awesome.
It sold more than Tybo did great, but didn't even come close.
Oh yeah. I did
I remember Tybo too. I did it too. I know.
I remember. Yeah.
And for the record, I got my mom to go to an all women's fitness center because when I went back with her, I kept wanting her to get into like a gym.
Yeah.
And she didn't communicate why she wasn't able to do it. And so I said, look, when I get back, I'll go with you. So I go back and we go to the gym that I tend to visit when I see her. And she still hasn't communicated much with me.
Yeah.
But we walk into the gym and it was so intimidating because I was looking at it from my mom's eyes.
Right.
That there was no way she was going to walk into that co-ed gym. And it just, there's no way.
Well, what was so intimidating? Like, what was the thing that stood out the most?
Well, it's interesting because it's not something that would intimidate the two of you.
Yeah.
But when you walk in, if you could imagine a movie like where you're looking through the lens, and you walk in, you got a beef buffed up dude sitting at the front, and he's on the computer, and he kind of turns, I mean, right? So how can I help you or whatever? So
Weights are that
it's
way.
a guy,
Yeah.
and then you look into the open gym and you see guys. I'll do another one. Chang.
Yeah,
And you hear the weights falling.
Crashing.
And you got the guys with the gold, like little tank top
With the little
shirt on.
Stringers,
Like a stringer.
Right.
Yeah. What is the point of even a shirt?
Just take it off.
The nipples are
Like, you win.
Yeah, you win.
Yeah. And once I saw that, I was like, I totally get it.
Yeah.
And so we went to a place that was more conducive for her.
Good. That's awesome.
You know, more welcoming.
Absolutely.
And one-on-one. Yeah, actually my mom,
Yeah.
she got into weightlifting, but she's working one-on-one with the trainer.
Yeah.
Her trainer is actually a male.
Yeah.
But she likes that attention and she doesn't have to worry about that type of atmosphere. She just goes in. It's very targeted, very focused. She doesn't have to worry about anything extra.
So does your mom say, go pick that weight up for me?
She does. She says, hey.
Hey, and you stringer.
She says, you should do a stiff leg deadlift right now. Yeah, baby.
Well, and then even like to reverse it though. So let's like, when we talk about fat loss for everybody, right? And if my message is, every shape, size, and color, right where you are, starting right where you are, meeting you right where you are, let's then talk about the reverse, the stereotypes for men, right? It's not all men know how to go to a gym and lift. And so there's an even
That's
more
true.
uncomfortable, right? And even more intimidated, to go into a gym and lift because now they're already assuming
that you
like
should know.
Right, you're a guy. So I actually had, and it's funny that we talk about this. I haven't talked about it in a while. I had a lot of male clients when I first started training that had no idea what they were doing. And by the end of like 6 months, we set some goals and all that. They were wearing tank tops and things like that and felt so much more confident, even in just the few first workouts with me because you're with somebody that knows what they're doing,
right?
Walking around confident in it. So now you feel confident. And then sometimes I would just train you do your free session that you do when you first start.
Yeah.
And then I would see them do the exact same workout that I walked them through like every time they came to the gym. I'm like, okay,
I wonder where you got that from.
Yeah, switch it up. So it's so it's very interesting. But the whole gym experience can be extremely intimidating for anybody, and which is why so many people never get started. And that we have to change that. And so that was another motive.
So this show, what I would love us to do, and I don't want to throw us off.
Okay.
But what I would love us to do is to share information, thinking about how it can help someone that the information is relating to.
Sure.
Right. So, like for instance, what would you two recommend for women who are new to going to a gym? Like what can you recommend to them to take those first steps?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
how could you have helped my mom over the phone?
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Do you want to start? Want me to
Yeah, go
start?
ahead. Yeah.
I think, for me, and I could share this from my own personal experience as well, is one of the first things that I felt I got the most out of was I actually just, faced it.
Yeah.
And actually met with, either it's the salesperson or a trainer.
Yeah.
I actually just sat down with the trainer and then let them know what my goals were, and they were able to then share with me some of their information, some of the things that they could do, program wise, and there was a lot of that actually helped me kind of just get rid of a lot of this sort of like the stereotypes or the assumptions that I had way back when. And I remember thinking, it was scary at first to do that because I thought, oh, they're just going to try to sell me.
Right.
They're really not going to, and I know that's out there too.
Yeah.
But, just to take the time to just take the time for yourself
Absolutely.
to learn more about, okay, this is what I want. This is what I think I want.
Right.
Let me talk to a professional and have them guide me.
Absolutely.
So you're saying you went from a timid place like that
Yeah.
to becoming a professional fitness athlete.
Yeah. So, for example, after I had my son, I remember my workout because my workouts were walking him in the stroller, just some running. I really wasn't into lifting consistently. I did a little bit here and there, like resistance bands, body weight stuff. And I remember joining a gym, and the guy was telling me, and I kind of got offended because he was kind of like, yeah, you're going to have to do a little bit more than that for the goals that you want.
Yeah.
Which basically was telling me you need to start lifting.
Right.
And at the time I thought, what an ass, But,
right.
But it was true. And then so I actually started working. So my very first one-on-one trainer was a female trainer because of that same reason, that I just felt so much more comfortable with the female at the time. But once I got used to it and I realized what I was doing,
built your confidence up.
I didn't care who the trainer was, as long as they were a good trainer and they were listening to me and what my goals were.
Right.
And I just went from there.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So anyway.
Yeah. No, that's really good. And she just ended on something that was like, once the trainer listened to them and listened to what their goals were. And I think so many times, like, especially at the big gyms and things like that, they are already starting with a bottom line. Like, I got to get this many people to train, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you feel like it's salesy or, I don't want. So if you actually take the time to listen to somebody, and that was, I think, a reason even now that I have been able to have so many people that have stuck with me for so long. I mean, a lot of my clients I've been training for 10 years since I very first started. And because I take time to listen to them and get to know them, because what really people are saying is, like, if I'm saying like, oh, I'm scared to go to the gym, or I'm scared, they're saying, I don't know what I'm doing, or I feel afraid. If they're older, I'm afraid I'm going to hurt myself, or, and then when you start to really dig down deep, sometimes it's like somebody in their family just had a stroke or found out they had cancer or something like that. And there's now some deeper meaning. So they actually really have a desire to come exercise. So I think if you're taking a step, and to try to help somebody figure it out, is to like we talk about, with coaching and everything, is to try to figure out really why they're wanting to do this. And that's going to give them even a little more confidence to ask a professional or ask somebody, and just, really, we are professionals for a reason, right? We love what we do, and we want to share that information with someone else so that they can better their lives. Same thing for the coach. If you're coaching basketball or learning to ride a horse or ride a car or a bike or something for the first time, ask somebody that knows what they're doing, and it'll help you to build your confidence. And I think baby steps. I think like your mom walking in and seeing, all these, big guys and that's immediately intimidating, and that's it. It may have taken everything for her that day just to walk through that door, and so I think maybe as fitness professionals, we can do a better job of listening to people, of what they really are wanting to do and what their goals really are, and just starting them with tiny steps. And one thing I do with my clients right out the gate is because sometimes I think, I'm going to come in and like, like we're going to be doing burpees the first day and flipping off the treadmill and whatever. Terry Crews has this like hilarious thing where he's like, ooh, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it is hilarious.
That's
it's
what
like
you do.
That's what I do, right? First jump side to side of the treadmill. But, letting them know, let their guard down, like, hey, we're not going to do anything you're uncomfortable with today. All we're going to do is just kind of see how you move, maybe see how, a little flexible, how mobile you are, and then that's all we're gonna do.
Yeah.
And then that's like, okay, I can do that. Let's own that day. And then the next day, hey, we're gonna do some squats. But that also takes a professional to assess a client and to know, where they are in their fitness journey. So yeah.
Nice. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw some things out. You have a big personality.
Yeah.
And I mean, you are on the outside everything that you preach privately and it's taking place on the inside, right?
Yes.
So for years I have, so I'm gonna throw this out there.
Okay.
And I mean, it's for both of you, but at the same time, our focus is talking to Lacee, right?
Sure, yeah.
Like this.
But I'm looking forward to whatever this triggers. I look forward. So I have a few things that I want to kind of just put out there.
Okay.
So
trying to make me cry.
So for years, I have been under the impression and understanding and philosophy that if a person wants to look good in their clothes, that they would spend a lot of time doing cardio.
Oh.
If they want to look good naked, they would spend a lot of time lifting weights.
Yes.
Do you agree and explain why?
I think this goes back to a lot, again, misconceptions, right? and going back to even being intimidated. And that's another thing. What is one thing I can do when I walk into the gym? Boom! I know how to get on the treadmill and walk. Woo! I can get on the elliptical. Maybe I'll try the Stairmaster. Those are all things that right away kind of make people feel comfortable, especially women, right? And so I think that's what we would lean towards, cardio. Then we've had all these things over the years saying like, oh, you got to run. Lifting makes you bulky, and they think that we're going to look like, it's physically impossible for women to get like that without taking something First of all, we know that, but I just want to make that quite clear to everyone. So I would say, and we were just talking about this, that you have to have a harmony of both things, right? I do not like to do cardio at all. Like, I don't like, you guys see me, I mean, here I'm like, you know, I mean, like wind my way through it, but I do it, you know, I'm dedicated to it. I love to lift weights. I love to lift, and I love to lift heavy weights. And that is what really helps build that lean muscle mass. That's going to give you that sexy sculpted look. And when you think about the difference, you know, when you're thinking about it right now, and this way it was described to me, when you think of a track star versus like a cross country runner, you know, and like, you know, the HIIT training and all of that, you're getting those short bursts of energy and all that in you know, in interval training or when you're lifting weights, they got those sculpted, thick, lean muscles, whereas a cross country star, you know, that's just consistent, like that steady state cardio running. Yeah, you look good, you know, but you got to have a balance of both. So you have to lift and you have to do cardio. You have to do both. If you only lift all the time, okay, you're missing out on some very important benefits of physical activity with cardio. So,
but is there any truth to what I said?
I don't. I mean, I would.
If you want to look good in clothes,
right?
Do a lot of cardio.
Yeah.
If you want to look good naked, lift weights.
I don't think so. I think that I think that you have to have a balance. You have to have, yes. I mean, I think, yes, if you want to look good naked and build lean muscle, have like a pumped butt and like shaped, you know, whatever you consider to be the sexiest version of yourself, you absolutely got to pump some weights and do some resistance training.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I guess would it be accurate to say, like, for women and men who want to look their best naked, you want to perform cardio and make sure you perform resistance training.
Right.
That accurate?
That's what she's saying.
Yeah.
Is that what you're asking?
Right.
Right.
I'm just
Would you agree, Coach BK?
I mean, okay, so this, I would say yes to that. I would say yes, absolutely. I mean, person speaking to like my best naked is I'm paying more attention to the weights. However, I do think that the desired physique has changed over time.
That is
for
true.
sure.
True.
Like there's definitely a lot more, especially with women. They do like that more of a like a you know, maybe
a booty
feminine
and
but stronger look. You know, that silhouette of an hourglass where you still got those kind of little bit of boulder shoulder going, tight waist, and then nice legs. And that comes from lifting.
Fact.
For sure. I mean, there's nutrition and all that other stuff, but for sure, if you're going to build that physique, you've got to lift.
Well, you know, it's interesting when you look at, like, let's say you take people who are, let's say, 50 and older. Actually, more like 55 and older. And then you look at the generation like 40 and younger.
Yeah.
The older people, the more mature people, will look at Kim Kardashian and they'll go, "Why would someone want a butt that?"
Oh, for sure.
They
and the younger girls are like,
they're like, "Give me that ass.
Get like that.
Right.
Give me that ass."
and then
right.
And they exercise for that.
Right.
Whereas I hear women 56 plus, they're like, "I would not want that."
Well,
they want a flatter,
ass.
smaller
flat
butt.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
Me.
No, that's okay. Hey,
Yeah.
that goes back, you know, also to one thing that I try to talk about all the time is a positive self-body image, right? And also setting a realistic goal for a body image, right? I mean, Kim Kardashian is gorgeous. Her curves are amazing. I think she has a beautiful body. To somebody else, that might not look like, not who even cares about the age or culturally or whatever it is, that might not look like somebody they consider to be a fit person. I might not look like to someone to be a fit person or someone that anybody would want to look like in the fitness industry or looking at a magazine cover like, you know, whoa, how is that? You know, but Coach BK might look way more like, well, I would rather, but I think the most important thing is that, you know, all of us have our own body type. There's no way I am going to healthily get in a way and to like be a size 0 or like lose my backside. You know what I mean? That's like very, you know, genetically part of who I am, you know, and so setting it is so important, especially for our young women, and you have 2 daughters, to set a healthy self-body image that like it's okay to have like a little bit of a belly roll or to have cellulite or to have, you know, your arms are like not like cut up or your and to own your curves and to celebrate them, because that's what makes you unique and beautiful. And that's where we go in and talking about what you know you both talk about all the time is same with me, is the body composition and having, you know, healthy. And when you say happiest and healthiest, that means like mind, body, and spirit. I know plenty of people, and you were in the industry, both you guys, that are like super lean that you would look and be like, oh, they're the epitome of health. knowing full well that they're battling an eating disorder, or that they're, having some serious issues, there too. So I think that, changing, like you said, that has changed for sure.
Yeah.
But then we also have on the back end now, the Instagram models and things like that these young women are comparing themselves to. If you watch the show Social Dilemma, which is, I recommend highly for everybody to watch that, where they're just comparing their bodies, and it's unrealistic to think that they're, some of these bodies have had surgery. They have literally ass implants. I mean, like in this implants and that implants and when you get a young girl that's just going through, some changes in her body, or that can be really, really hard. So I think it's very important to set that your body is your body, and it is important for you to try to look your healthiest and happiest for you, because there's nobody else on the planet like you.
For sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Boom.
So I'm thinking, going like, so. Yeah. What were we talking? What was the question?
I know the question was, you talked about naked versus looking good in clothes versus looking good naked,
Right.
and do you agree that cardio versus weights?
All
right. So anyone who heard this is hearing this conversation. They're thinking, okay, if I'm only doing cardio right now, it would be ideal to bring some resistance training into my my routine. If I'm only doing resistance training, it would be wise to bring in some cardio.
Yes.
Right. So we all agree.
All
with that.
agree.
Yeah.
In agreement.
Okay.
Yes.
Now you're known, or part of your brand that you've created and you're developing is promoting health around fit, curvy women.
Yes.
Can you explain what that means and how? And I guess you have programs that help women for that, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Right.
I do a lot of 21-day challenges and things like that. And not to say that, everybody's, going to get those results in 21 days. But when you like I said, my main thing is always you focus on one day at a time. And so people can kind of wrap their head around at 21 days. And then they're like, okay, maybe I could start with 21 days or start day one and then get to 21 days and then we see. But yes, so owning your curves, being your healthiest and happiest. I think for the longest time that when you looked at the cover of like a health magazine or whatever it was, you would see like a white woman, like a size, 0, 1 to 2, just a body image that seemed very unachievable for, I think, your average person. And when you look at numbers now, the average size woman, I think these are new statistics that just came out, I think it's like a size 15 and 16, I think now that's like the average size, up from just in 2019, which it was like 12 to 13.
Oh, wow.
So curvy is...
And by today's standards, that's larger than Marilyn Monroe days.
Right. We were talking about Marilyn Monroe the other day.
She was like a size 12 around her heaviest, which today would be a size 6.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Isn't
That's
that
true,
crazy?
because the sizes have changed too. They've adjusted that.
Yeah. So they've adjusted them where
Right.
a size 12 today is bigger than a size 12
back in the day.
50 years ago.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think the main thing to kind of harp on and what I talk about is that your size or your weight on the scale does not determine your self-worth, and we've definitely talked about this. And so to stop, and I'm glad that the media has changed their image of what healthy and fit looks like. If you look at different brands now, they are wrapping around not only curvy women but women of color, and and showing a different, because I've never in my life wanted to be not curvy.
Right.
I mean, I've always liked having, thick thighs and a booty and, all that. And I was also encouraged, my mom's, white, my dad's black. And so, I had like a very well-rounded view of and my dad's a professional athlete. My mom was super into jazzercise. Maybe that's why she did it while I was pregnant. Maybe subconsciously, that's what happened to me. I became a group fitness instructor. And they were like, so I always had I received so much encouragement from them, always about my body and all that. And yeah, so I mean, really, really just helping women to understand that just because your body doesn't look like the standard of what fitness has always been, or fit looks like, doesn't mean that you are not healthy, that you are not worthy, that you should not be valued, and that you are just like a woo woo sister and go get it. I mean, so, but then when we talk about, you know, owning our curves, then let's talk about being healthy, you know, and so then that goes back into knowing your body composition, your fat, you know, the amount of fat mass you have, your lean muscle mass, your body fat percentage. And, you know, for the longest time, we've talked about like your BMI, you know what I mean? Like, and how incorrect that can be, your body mass index. And as a certified professional, I definitely learned about BMI. And a lot of times when you go to your doctor and they're like, your BMI is...
They still do.
They still do. And you're like, wait a minute, you know? And then you feel like you have to lose like 50, 60 pounds, which seems completely unachievable.
Yes.
But when you really look at your body fat percentage and your body composition, maybe you only have like 25 pounds, which is like way more realistic for somebody to wrap their hands around. So, so being healthy should always be your number one goal. Not worrying about the number on the scale.
Okay, so when I see your classes, I don't see a lot of people that you're speaking to, right? So, like in my travels, I'll never forget when I would go to like Louisiana, or I would find myself like in Maryland. I remember going, and they wanted me to do a nutrition session inside this big like conference,
right?
And so I get there, and they had like the booth set up everywhere, and it's in the hotel, right? Yeah. And you had the big room where they constantly had people performing, like fitness instructors guiding class.
Yeah. Okay.
And the women, and this was all black. Like, I mean, there's a sprinkle of a few white people and a couple Latinos. I didn't see no Filipinos.
No Italians. No Italians either.
Well, there's probably a couple of Italians. But the women that were taking these classes and the way they were moving, the average woman being 300, 400 pounds, and they were doing step classes, they were doing power this, power that.
Killing it.
And they were killing it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Moving like...
Yeah.
And it was so impressive.
Yeah.
And I've seen that. So I know that there are women in Ventura County.
Yeah.
That would love to take your classes.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
So we're saying like, why are they not here?
Well, I mean, I see you have some of everybody in your classes.
Right.
I'm hoping someone's watching this on Facebook or YouTube and they live near.
Yes.
And
or not.
And you're about
online.
Yeah. Well, and you're about to share something that's going to like welcome them in.
One of the best compliments. Thank you for that. For one of the best compliments that I've received, and even recently, because I was in the MBF program with Megan Davies, and I was the modifier, and all of a sudden I started getting all of these messages from women around the world, especially like black women, curvy women, saying like, "Oh my gosh, we love following you. You made us feel like we could do it." And it was like right away. You know, you kind of always have known like your purpose and that too, but right away it started even to drive home my purpose. Like, oh, this is so much bigger than me. That these women saying things to me like, "You made me feel like fitness was possible at my size," right? Because when you give somebody an unrealistic expectation of something that they want to look like, or that they don't even want to look like, and there's not a lot of women that look like me in the industry. There's not a lot of black people in the industry, period, right? But let alone like black and curvy, you know, certified professionals, you know, in the mainstream, you know, that are, and so that needs to change. And I feel grateful that I have been given a platform to do so. And yes, if you are listening, I would love for you to join one of our 21-day challenges, but to change your life, you know, because you're adding, you know, and generationally, right? Culturally, generationally, you know, there are, you know, being bigger and curvier and all that is definitely something culturally that, you know, we are, you know, more used to, and it's more, you know, accepted and even sought after, you know what I mean, like within like black culture. But then you toddle on the lines of, let's make sure it's healthy, you know, and so you know, it's a very delicate balance, and let's make fitness possible for you. How do we do that, you know? And you have to, let's first like establish that baseline of seeing like, okay, you know, where, and just moving, making somebody feel like encouraged to move, just be able to go.
Yeah, but you're not answering my question.
What? You asked the question?
No, I mean,
here we go, guys.
I mean, you're not.
Yeah.
Because people at home, I'm telling you, they're going, well, she's not really answering his question.
What's the question, so I can be clear?
Well, I wanted you to, all right, for instance, when I saw that group of women in Louisiana, Texas, Maryland, when I saw a bunch of larger, curvy women, I get that, because if some woman was there at the conference and saw those women doing it, she would then, because she can see they look like her.
Right.
And there's a lot of them. Okay, I'm going to do that.
Right.
It's safe.
Right.
I feel like even though I can't do what they're doing because they're moving.
Right.
I can do that.
Yes.
It's more relatable for
you
someone
see what
like
I mean?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm asking you to share, like how do you bring them in? I mean, I get the invite and there's a lot of great information you're sharing, but you know, or maybe what people are doing wrong when these women want to improve their life and they get turned off.
Right.
Because they don't see people. Like, do you have it set up to where you say, hey, look, I know what it feels like.
Yeah.
I know how to move as a curvy, larger size person.
Right.
And so through my own personal experience and the fact that you're credentialed, you're certified, I'm able to get someone who's larger and don't feel like they're fit on the path of moving the way I move.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. No, I mean.
So maybe I just answered it for you.
I think it has been. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Next show.
No, and let me make one more point on that, because when you did that thing with Beachbody, right? If I was a line producer or a producer or consulting, what do you think I would have changed in that shoot?
Oh God, I don't know. What?
I would have had you doing the advance.
Oh, yeah.
And then I would have had someone else that's larger doing the
modified.
The modified.
Yeah.
Because what a lot of those people don't realize is that all the stuff the advanced people were doing, Lacee can do.
That's right.
Yeah.
And, and that would have been very uplifting
to
see someone with your curves and size throwing down.
Look at her move, boy.
I agree with that.
So Carl, you owe me some money. You should have brought me in and let me consult you.
That's a major point. It's a major point.
Yeah, it is. No, thank you, first of all. And I think, I think I would love to have more.
Oh, you would have been all over it. Because, like, if I was there, I would have.
Push-ups.
Let's go now.
I would have been like, look, you guys, you're thinking kind of like the inclusive thing.
Right.
You guys are old school.
Yeah.
You're caught up in back in the day.
Right.
In reality, Lacee needs to be throwing down.
Yeah.
And she's gonna move more mass and do all the things that the small. I mean, she's not the star because you have your star.
Yes, and she's
But
amazing.
you're going to be throwing down, and so look, she's throwing down, and she looks like what people perceive fitness.
Yeah.
And you're throwing down with her, but you don't look the way she looks.
Yeah.
That I mean, to me, that would have been powerful.
No, I think so. I mean, and that's what. Well, first of all, I have to just talk about Megan Davies, because she has been her message. She's a gymnast. She's an amazing athlete, and I can't even tell you the amount of. Every time anybody that is curvy and reaches out to her, she like shoots a message right to me, like, hey, this person, blah blah blah, because she truly, genuinely not only wants to help people, but she truly wants to change that stereotype. Right. Even though she looks like, that's her beautiful, lean gymnast body that she has, that she's worked very hard for. I mean, she is a beast. I mean, she and I love Megan. I mean, like, but she did nothing but encourage me and all women of every shape, size, and color that they could not only do that program, but that the number on the scale didn't dictate your level of fitness or your value. I mean, she drove that home, and I another reason why I really enjoyed being part of that program. But I mean, and that's another reason why. I mean, I have my program called My Curves Are the Hit that we're getting ready to film and getting picked up and all that too. And where I want to include, there's going to be big black women in there and curvy women in there, and showing what they can do in fitness at every level. And I can't wait. I mean, because life is too short to like not own the person that you are and your curves and all that. And if you can see someone, I think so many people want the help, right? I mean, they really
do.
And, it is so important. Representation is so, so important. So if you're listening out there, My Curves Are the Hit program, I would love to, show you guys what that's all about. And,
they're listening. I mean, just stay with us in the conversation.
Stay
because when we go into editing, every time you look at the camera, we cut that out.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, we go to a wide shot. Action shot.
Right?
Okay, so I'm gonna get you in a situation, and I would love you to whatever comes to mind, please share.
Yeah.
So I go to these conferences, right?
Yeah.
And I see all these women, and then I do my session on food, so I get to meet some of them.
Yeah.
The next year I come back, I get there, I'm excited. Same conference, I get to come back. And I see the class throwing down, the music's loud.
Right.
Everybody's throwing down. And I see the same women, and they look the exact same.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah.
So, and I'm not beating up on it anymore.
No, it's hard.
But if you're 400 pounds.
Right.
and you're throwing down and you can do the workouts and you're moving the way you're moving.
Right.
And a year later,
right,
you're the same.
Right.
And the third year later,
right,
you're the same.
Right. It's hard. Yeah.
What do you guys? I mean, help us understand.
Well, yeah, let you go
what's blocking
first. Yeah.
these people from changing, or do they just never change?
No, I think that, first of all, it's a delicate balance with, and I just spoke on this about setting a goal, right? So if their goal was like, okay, I want to go and exercise, that's what I'm trying to do, and I love the class, and then this is what I'm going to do. Boom, I've gotten there 4 or 5 days a week. That's a win. Okay, so now if your goal is to drop body fat, okay, so what's the next thing? How are you going to do that? What's your plan? What are you going to do? Who knows what's being, given to them as nutrition, all that. They need some sort of guidance.
Also, you're saying it must be nutrition because they're active.
Right.
It must be nutrition?
Absolutely.
Oh.
Very good, Ferg. Thank you for bringing that in, answering. Yes, no, but the nutrition needs to change. And we were just talking about this. And if we go back to, if we're going to go off the subject a little bit here, if that's okay. I recently.
Well, it's about you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it's
all about you.
I recently just lost 18 pounds. Yay, woo, woo, working with my coach right here, Coach BK, who held me accountable, who knew when to push, who knew when to this. And it was, I think, very humbling as a certified fitness professional, because I had gotten, there's just bad habits that people start to form, right? So if you're going to do the exercise and you weigh over 400 pounds, give yourself credit for getting your ass there, okay, and doing the workouts. And that's very, because it might have taken, like I said, everything in there for you, even if all the women look like you, even if they don't, for you to get your butt up and go do that. If nobody else in your family's exercising, I got to give you credit. You give yourself credit. That's awesome.
Right.
But if the nutrition doesn't change, and even as as a trainer and a group fitness instructor, the dropping the body fat, something has to change. And I think this is where the mentality comes in, especially culturally, like, I am not eating kale. I do not want to shake. I don't want to give up this. And right away, you've already, created this whole decision that you're not going to do it, And I think, with the, Diet Free Life program and the program that I did to drop 18 pounds that I actually coach, but I finally followed to a T because I got a coach, which you encouraged me to get a coach, to be accountable and to really help me. And it works. And I didn't have to give up anything. I mean, I still, text you bitch my food. I had cake, I had donuts, I had, I had everything, but I had it all in the right portions. And so I think there's so much information out there that's incorrect, and especially culturally. So you take incorrect information and then you have someone that is not a representation that looks like me. Why am I going to listen to that?
Right.
Already I'm like, right?
Yeah,
and what do you?
I would say a couple things. I actually have a client, or had a client. I was working with her, and she's now on the right track.
Yeah.
She's definitely on the curvy side.
Yeah.
She's very athletic. She can do a lot of things. And so this is where I think that comes in is education's key. Education about just nutrition, and then about what defines as healthy with respect to body composition. Yep. She needed to come up to speed with that. It was almost like an intersection of that and the reality of her latest physical with her doctor. Yeah. So it was one of those things where she's active. She was doing all these things that, she was wanting to do athletically. Yeah. She did have some challenges with respect to, she was getting a little heavier, so she could feel that it was getting more challenging, but she was still doing the things that she wanted to do. Yeah. So it wasn't like she was missing out on anything. Right. Then all of a sudden she goes to see her doctor, gets her blood work back, and all these other, these different, measures of health. Right. And she was shocked. She's like, oh my God, I guess it's, I mean, not to say that your weight, it puts a value on you as a person, right? But it was truly an eye opener for her, with respect to her health measure. And then all of a sudden she's realizing, like, okay, so that's why when we're talking about body composition, that's why this is important, because now my blood sugar level, or my my A1C is here, my cholesterol is here. Right. They're telling me I need to be on medication now, and she's freaking out. Yeah. So you're right. So it's like, okay, she was doing all these good things. Yes, absolutely. She was active. She was doing all these good things. But now is really an eye-opener, almost like a rude awakening. Yes. That nutrition had to come to another level. It is a harsh reality check. Yeah. I mean, we were in here in a meeting, like, in tears, because I'm like, I know all these things, I'm telling her, and I'm a Libra, so I'm always like bouncing the scale. I would say one thing and I'd immediately follow it with something else. Right. I'd be like, and then she'd be like, how do you do that? No, listen, here's what's happening. And so the reality check
is really what happened. And so that is really the only time. And when you don't have that reality check, like when you don't, it doesn't mean like you don't beat yourself down. That's not what we're trying to do. But if you don't know what your levels are, I mean, people that are avoiding going to the doctor because they already know what they're going to say about their cholesterol or that. Everybody in your family has diabetes and you're about the same size. Highly likely that you also have diabetes.
Yeah.
Okay, so and this, I mean, that's just then you're getting real with it. Your grandpa died of diabetes, or you're this, and your auntie, and whoever, and you can be the one to change that. Because guess what? You got little kids and your family that are looking at you in a different way. And I think for me, my reality check was, I here I am trying to encourage all these women and all that, knowing like I'm healthy. I went to my doctor. I mean, like, he's like, yeah, you're healthy and whatever. But I'm looking at my numbers and I'm like, yeah, but they're like not really that good, not like really at all. And I thought I was way better than that. And then I had to do the check, like if I'm asking people for excellence, and in my life where I command a lot of, excellence in so many other areas, I'm like, what are you doing here? Like, I mean, like, why are you not commanding more excellence from yourself? And then that was a reality check. And then it was like a light switch flipped. And it doesn't mean that, it's progress, not perfection. And I think that that's another thing. People think it's all or nothing. I need to lose 21 pounds in 21 minutes.
Right. Or they're bad. Or there's it's either they're having to balance whether they're good or bad. It's not even that. Yeah. It's just, like you said, it's just progress, right? You're just getting real with where you are.
Yes.
And then just moving forward. It has nothing to do with whether you're good or bad, I always tell my clients, like, it's not like we're going to crucify you. It's like, it's not about that at all. There's no judgment here.
Yeah.
It's just get real. Just get real.
And so many times we judge ourselves before we even start anything. Right. We've already created this whole, scenario in our brain.
Yes.
It's crazy what our mind does. Like the fear that just creates this whole scenario before you even do anything. It's insane. But I think that for me, the asking for help, and it was after actually a post that Ferg did that was like, because he's champion boxer and all of that too, and he said one day he did this post, he was talking about like Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston and all these like the greats that I admire, and he was like, this person had a coach, this person had a coach, this person had a coach. And for me to think that even though I know that I'm smart and that I'm credentialed and that I to be a lifelong learner, and I can't do this by myself. Like I really need some help. And look what happened.
Good for you.
18 pounds later. You know what I'm saying? Woo, woo. Hey, high five.
Right. So we have about 7 minutes. Okay. We're down to 7. I've been trying to break in there. Let you guys know that we have 10 minutes. And I try to break in when we have 15 minutes.
Yeah.
He's like, well.
Okay, so we're going to ask you some questions. We'll go back and forth until we expire. And I know that you also have a place to be.
Yeah.
You got to go.
Oh, it's time.
So I'm going to ask you some personal questions.
Okay.
Because we know that you're very outgoing. You don't mind sharing what you share. Okay, so we'll go back and forth, Barbara. So
all right.
You have questions
right. What do I got to say? What I got to say?
Well, we're just going to ask questions of Lacee.
I'm teasing.
Okay.
Yes.
So my first question is, a lot of women, when they get into a new relationship, and it gets intimate, don't feel comfortable. Like they will choose a man that is not fit when they're not fit, as far as lean and look a certain way.
Yeah.
How are you with that? Do you have a problem?
Well, first of all, since we first walked in and Ferg is already saying that I don't like to wear clothes. So that's like, so clearly, no, I don't have a problem. But that is a big thing. When I talk to women and sit down and have one-on-ones, they are like, they want the lights off. They don't want to have sex with their husband. They don't want anything. And that's a big problem because sex is a huge part of a relationship, right? I mean, so I think, and again, getting in your head about it. A lot of times the husbands are like, I love you just the way you are. I think, if you're with somebody that makes you feel bad, or that's something that you're going to have to check. I mean, like, and as you start to drop body fat, when you start, that your mindset starts to change too. So I've seen a lot of changes happen in relationships and things like that too, once somebody starts to drop body fat. But I think that, like we talked about, you have to love yourself right where you are and stop putting these judgments on yourself, because your husband probably thinks that you are beautiful just the way that you are and just wants you to be happy and healthy, and he just wants to have sex with you and you not be like so I think that it's very important to just own your beauty right where you are, and know that you're beautiful right where you are. And that's a hard thing to do as women, because but no, the answer is I don't have a problem at all. Okay. Yeah. All
right, Barbara.
My turn. Okay.
We have 5 minutes.
Yeah. So, all right. So you're driven, right?
Yeah.
I know you've got a lot of goals.
Yeah.
If you think of your ideal man, what kind of ideal man would fit into that role? Because other women out there are trying to balance all that too.
Yeah.
So how do they do that? Especially single moms.
Yep.
How do you balance
That's a great
that?
question. You know what? I've been single for a long time, and I have a son that's 13 and love him to death. I mean, like, but you know, teenagers are like, oh, I mean, we've had our conversations about teenagers, and I run, you know, a business, you know, by myself, you know, so I mean, so it's a lot to try to find somebody. And one thing that I took away from like a relationship class that I did a while ago that said, like and some of the best relationships that I've seen are actually like genuinely good relationships, not just like on camera everybody seems happy and then behind the scenes you're like, what's really going on? Is that it's two people living two separate journeys together in one space. So like, for me, ideally, like, I mean, because I've been single for so long and I'm 37, I'm very set in my ways. Like, as far as like, I do this, this is what I like. So for someone just to drop in, that would just be like, you know, not, you know, like knowing like that's my personality and that I'm this and that I'm not gonna like be sticking up under you and all that. It's gonna have to be somebody that has their own goals and their own drive, that is in alignment, you know, with me as far as like, you know, spirituality and all that too, and fitness, because fitness is very, very important to me. So, so I mean, it would take. I think when you know, and I definitely normally like people that are a little older than me, but I mean, it doesn't have to be that way. But in the fitness space, is important too. So it's interesting because I think
someone's like,
yeah, I'm wide open to definitely be married, to be in love. I think it's beautiful. I think it's fantastic. But you know, right now I'm single and I enjoy my.
So it's like you're not downstairs in a white dress with a bouquet right now.
Yeah.
3 minutes. I think you answered that.
Yes.
It went kind of all over.
Oh my God.
All right, so I have a 2-part question.
Yeah.
So the first part of the question is, when it comes to being in a relationship with a man, a sexual relationship with a man, do you have a preference if he's circumcised or not circumcised? So remember, it's a 2-part question.
Right. So what's the question?
Do you have a preference?
What's the second part?
Well, you got to say.
All right, answer the first part.
Do you have a preference? It doesn't
yeah,
matter.
I would say I would appreciate a circumcised penis. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. So,
are you circumcised?
So the follow-up question. So this is not ask the question to get a question.
It's called ping pong.
Hey, ping pong.
Ping pong.
Great.
Okay.
Are you?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, you guys are throwing me off a little bit.
We have
I almost
three.
forgot my second question.
We have 3
What's
minutes.
the second question?
So let's say that you get in a relationship with a guy,
Yeah.
and it's going great, and you like him, he likes you, the fitness, the lifestyle, you know, a lot of things are going great.
Right.
And you finally have the moment, right? Because that's not a question you ask when you first meet someone.
Are you circumcised?
Right.
Okay.
I mean, do women?
Right.
I've never had a woman ask me that in the first meeting.
I don't think it's a deal breaker. I mean, like,
okay,
I think,
so here's my question. My
Yeah.
second question is, so you have that moment with this person for the first time.
Yeah.
And in the unveiling,
When the hoodie comes off.
it's very clear that this person is not circumcised.
Sure.
And I guess you kind of, it's not a deal breaker. You'd be okay with
You
that?
wouldn't walk out?
At that point, where do you
You wouldn't.
If I've decided, you know, and I'm in a relationship with them, and you know, we've decided that that's what we're gonna do, and then you know, that's
you could ask him. You could still get
I
circumcised.
was going to say, maybe you could put him on a 120-day goal.
Here's the thing. Absolutely. Here's your plan.
Here's your plan.
No.
Day 2.
That's not a deal breaker. No.
Okay. So,
Absolutely not. What about you?
About that?
Yeah.
well, we got to keep it on you. We have time for one more question, or we're out of time.
All right.
Are we out of time?
So what's your last question for Lacee?
Oh, I would just say, what's your number one tip, whether men or women, just if they're wanting to get started, what would be your number one tip?
I would say,
as far as fitness and
health,
weight loss and all that?
All that.
yeah, I would say, you know, and I just had a new client that I was talking to about this too. I would say, just learn to take it one day at a time. And I think that that's with anything, like whether you're trying to drop 10 pounds or 110 pounds, whether you are trying to just learn to lift, or, you know, you're trying to do some cardio, whatever it is in your life, period. All any of us really have is 24 hours at a time. When we start to focus way in the future, and like, you know, you can get anxiety, you get all of these things happening, You just set a plan, get a goal together, a realistic goal, get with someone that's going to help, a professional that's going to help you get a goal. And whatever it is that you're doing. I mean, whether it's a relationship, whether it's fitness, whether it's health, and you just take it one day at a time, because that's all any of us have. That's it.
Wow. So finally you calm down and share something, some powerful words.
I know. Yeah.
Well, so here's my recommendation. There's a lot that we could all weigh in on and talk about.
Yeah.
Right? And I believe that, it's great having you here.
Thank you.
So I would love it if we can do this, not just interviewing you, but do a show with the three of us at least once a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
And we can talk about what we got going on.
Yeah.
We all are working under the same roof.
Yep.
Right?
Yes.
Notice I didn't say roof.
I appreciate that.
Rough.
Did you notice there's a difference?
Roof.
What do you say?
Roof.
What did you say?
Is that a Midwest thing?
From Indianapolis?
No, it's when you do a lot of camera work and you do TV, listen to actors and actresses, they'll say roof. They won't say roof because roof punishes the mic.
Oh.
It gives it,
I
and
just
there's a
punished
whole
the
bunch,
mic.
like you don't use A, it's ah. Like, so there's a lot of things that you say that makes it easier
On the ears?
on the ears.
Got it. Interesting.
So there you go.
Thanks, Ferg.
If you listen long enough, Lacee,
Raise the roof.
Yeah.
Roof.
So, I do have a gift for you as we say goodbye to everybody.
Thanks.
It's a large pot of I can't believe it's butter.
I thought it was going to be the little. I thought it was going to be the little
You guys are gonna have to
toy.
watch the episode of that. I can't believe it's not butter spray, and Ferg blew it for me.
Yeah.
So now,
I thought it was going to be the little toy.
Yeah, the little toy with the toy.
Well, it's interesting because
Yeah.
that happened. I had a lady, and this I'll end on this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a lady that was a client of mine
Yeah.
probably 15 years ago, if not longer. And the weight wasn't coming off. And so she was eating popcorn. I was going, so are you, I almost want to say, are you sure that's all you're eating? Like, and she says, no, I use the butter. I said, next time you come in, can you bring the butter? Because she said it was a Weight Watchers butter spray.
No calories.
I said, can you bring it in? And she brought it in, and we went over the labels, and it said 0 calories, like 0 fat. It was all over the can. And I walked her through the label, and she realized it was pure fat.
Yeah.
And it was made up of a lot of calories.
And she was putting that all on her.
And I said, so like when you put this in, when you make your popcorn,
How much?
And she was, I'm gonna say she was probably late 60s.
Yeah.
So you can use your imagination. She's African American woman. One of those women, I met her at a church. She used to wear a hat all the time.
Yeah.
So imagine what she may look like.
Yeah.
And I said, so when you have the bowl, because this is my personality.
Yeah.
I said, you got the bowl like this. So I want you to act like you got the bowl, and I want you to show me how you add the butter.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, what I do is I have the bowl. And she said, and then she says she lifts it up. And then she lifts it up. And then she
Get it all in there. She's like that.
and then she got in there. She said, I shake it.
No, I'm like ready.
And then I sprayed it. I spray. And I
my
go,
God.
so that you good? And she says, I eat a
Nope.
little bit, and then I, freshen it up. She goes, because it's 0 calories. And I was like,
Oh
That's
my
it.
God.
It's like air.
I said, so I gotta
She
share
said-
something with you.
She said, I just take the top off and just pour that.
That's what I
just
did.
pour that on.
I mean, I sure did. Not
It's
gonna
like,
lie.
oh yeah.
Well, there you have it, you guys. Hey,
Yeah.
this is Lacee Green. All the information is made available. You guys share what we share with you with other people so we can keep doing this. You can reach Lacee, reach out to her. You can live anywhere in the world and work out with Lacee.
Yep.
With modern day technology, you can join her classes.
Yeah.
You can try her classes. You can call her on the phone. And if you live in Ventura County,
Hey.
get your butt over to
That's
Lacee
right.
and work out.
Just
Come
saying.
see her.
Come on.
Yes.
Thank you guys. I appreciate that. Come on.
Thank you.
Come on,
Awesome.
805.
I know.
Yeah,
It's so
yeah.
awesome having
as
you
we
on.
say goodbye to everybody, and Lacee will be back,
Yeah.
is that we encourage people always to get healthy, be healthy, and ultimately,
Stay healthy.
thank you, Lacee.
Thank
Thank you, Lacee.